Hey, good morning. How is everybody this morning? Here with Hannah this morning. Super excited to be here. And we're going to talk about the cost of indecision in our lives. I know myself included, and I know Hannah has, we've all hit those points where we've been at a pivotal point in our life and we have to make a decision. I mean, there is absolutely no choice. We have to make that decision. And then I don't. Have you run into things like that before as well, Hannah?
Oh my God. So many times. So many times I say, I know I need to do this. This is the best thing I could be doing for myself right now. And then a day passes, a week, a month, a year.
Right?
We know.
Right. See, for myself, I used to be stuck in that cycle. And it wasn't because I wasn't a decision maker. I make a lot of decisions. I make them very, very quickly. But if I don't understand the power behind the decision that needs to be made, oftentimes I'll like deprioritize it and set it aside. And that came from actually never stopping to take account of the cost. Like we always think about the cost of doing something, but so often as humans, we don't think about the cost of not doing it, right? Like when I was younger, my grandma taught me the cost of doing things. I wanted to go out and play. I wanted to go pick the raspberries, and we had this little big old mug and we'd fill it up and we'd get to eat the raspberries with grandma. And I loved doing that. And then she would say, well, if you want to do that, you have to pull the weeds in the garden first. And I understood the cost. I had to go out in the sun with all the bugs, out in the critters in the middle of the country, and go pull weeds out of this garden, which was not fun. My grandma loved gardens. It was a big garden, right? It was a lot of work. I understood the cost of getting something, right? She instilled that in me. And I got to the point where I actually enjoyed doing the hard thing to get the result, because time with grandma picking raspberries was just a big thing. That was like something we did. I felt loved. She was able to love me through that. It was a really cool experience. But what I never understood was the cost of not doing it. Why? Because my desire to do it was greater than the cost, right? Mm-hmm. So as I grew up, if I didn't see the cost of not doing something, I didn't prioritize it high. Because I never thought, it never entered my mind at that age, well, what if grandma doesn't want to spend time with me and pick the raspberries? That never occurred to me because I knew grandma wanted that. So that was like almost a guarantee in my mind. This weeding the garden was just something we had to get out of the way. So in my life, as I started looking at things, we got into marketing more in business. I've been doing this for, I did a recount. It's been almost 2 decades now that I've been doing this. So as you all know, I'm about 22 years old.
Exactly.
We just won't date myself here. But I've been doing this for about 20 years. And I started to learn things about sales that really opened up my eyes to a lot of other things. Somebody said, stop trying to figure out the value or the cost that your program should be or the cost of your service. Figure out how much the cost of not having your service or your product is for the customer, and just price it slightly under that. And it'll be a no-brainer. There'll be no sale needed. People will just take it because the cost of not having it would be higher. And I was like, what do you mean the cost of not having it? And somebody brought it to me really simple. They said, did you know that you can even put a valuation on an intangible product? And I'm like, okay, I don't get it. What do you mean? He goes, well, think about it like couples counseling. He says, you got to figure out how much it's going to cost them. And I was like, nothing. If they don't pay me, then they're not out that money. He goes, well, he says, let's quantify it for a moment. He says, if they don't pay you to work with them in counseling, then their marriage might not go quite smooth. And then there's going to be contention, and there's going to be friction, and then there's going to be arguments, and there's going to be anger, and then it's going to be a very uncomfortable marriage. And eventually, that house that you've spent your entire lives working together, $250,000, you just lost it. Not having marriage counseling cost you $250,000. He says, plus there's alimony. Now you're going to pay $1,000 a month plus the 250,000. And he starts like building this up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to pay myself for couples counseling and we're not even having problems. Right. And he's like, that's the power of knowing the cost of not deciding to move forward. And I was like, oh, wow. And
this is interesting.
So I really started to think about the cost of my indecision. It was like, there's certain things that I set aside and I just don't make that decision because it's not important. But it's only not important because I never thought about the cost of not doing it. I only thought about the cost of doing it. And sometimes the cost of not doing it is so huge. The cost of doing it is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like, I invested in a coach who worked with me, right? And I put a lot of money into this person. And they taught me everything that I already learned over the last 20 years. And I'm like, okay, I probably could have saved that money. Right. But what I did do is I learned a lot from the other people inside that program about what people were willing to pay for. You know, I learned a lot of being in that community of people.
Yeah.
The cost of not having that information based on my current income level now and my current clients, it could have cost me close to about $75,000 this year alone, just by not understanding what it is that people are willing to pay for, because I didn't know what they needed. If I didn't know that, I wouldn't have been able to create the program or market to them in a way that would show them the value of what I had. So the cost of not deciding to do that program, because I did my research and it looked like they pretty much were teaching what I already knew, the cost would have cost me, you know, 75 grand by now. You know, and it's just first quarter, you know, it's just getting over. Now, on the other hand, I've looked in and I've paid minimal amounts and I've picked up one little nugget. One nugget. Probably could have been given to me over the time it takes to get a receipt at the cash register. But it pulled me over a $16,000 change in how I was doing business, how I approached business. One simple sentence that was said to me, and it changed, and immediately within a week, it resulted in a $16,000 sale.
Okay, so, now stop leaving us hanging and just say it.
Right? Okay, so the difference is understanding that the cost is often far greater to not take action.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's taking the action consistently. Not everything will always be a win, but everything will be a guaranteed loss if we don't take action and move forward to seek out more information, but more importantly, the wisdom to apply that information effectively. And that's what I love about when you and I get together, is we get to sit here and say, okay, we all know the same stuff. Well, let's face it, there is nothing new under the sun when it comes to marketing, when it comes to advertising, when it comes to sales. It's all out there already. It's just that through experience, some of us have learned how to utilize that and apply it in a way in which our audience can receive it more effectively. You can take a glass of water and you can give it to somebody two ways. You can put it to them with some ice in a cup, or you can walk up and throw it in their face. Either way, they get a glass of water, right?
Yep.
But there's only one way in which they're going to come back to you and ask for another. There's only one way that's going to happen. And that's what I love about what we do with our marketing approach, is we're not like a lot of the common style that's being pushed out there. We're much more organic, and I'm not talking about not using paid advertising versus, you know, just organic strategies, but we're more organic in how we present ourselves. We're more authentic because it's natural. And when people see us as another individual, it opens up a door for conversation and relationship. And when you have a relationship with other people, making decisions with your friends are a whole lot easier than making a decision in a room full of business people. So it's important for us to present ourselves as true and authentic, people that can trust what we have to say, how we do business, how we show up. When we say we're going to be there at a specific time, we're there at a specific time. When we say that we're going to give them this, this, and this in a program, we show up and we give this, this, and this, and this,
Yep.
you know. And we had a conversation with one of my clients yesterday. And I said, it's not that you aren't extremely knowledgeable in your field. It's that you keep making vague promises to your audience. And when they're done with the program, although they've gotten great value, they're not sure if they got what you said that you were going to give.
Mm-hmm.
And that leaves them confused. So there's immense power in having clarity. And to be clear on anything, you have to make the decision to be clear. What's the cost of not making the decision to be clear? Confusion. Confusion never breeds sales. It never breeds growth. So I think that's probably one of the most powerful things about having an indecision mindset. And an indecision mindset can simply just be, oh, I'll make that decision later. That in itself is a decision. It's a decision to not make a choice. And to make a choice cuts off all other options and says, this must be. If you want it to happen, then you have to make it a must happen. And you can only do that by making decisions.
Yep. And I feel that usually we talk about the speed of decisions, right? I mean, it doesn't mean you take haphazard decisions. Mm-hmm. But when we decide, we take action. We take the first step, no matter how small it is. We take that first step because I have taken decisions mentally so many times. Mm-hmm. But unless you take that first step with immediate effect, it's very difficult to get that ball rolling, right? And yeah, just thanks for sharing that, because that makes me reflect right now on decisions that I have taken mentally, but not really taken a step forward. And yeah, you speak about like the marketing approach and you spoke of like pricing. How do we price our services, whether it's online, offline, whatever? But I think this is something that I always bring in to my program and with my clients. When we're looking at crafting that offer with the price and what's in that offer, I always ask them the question, what's at stake? What are the consequences of your ideal client not taking action with you?
Yep.
Because, and this is where we move from stepping into an affordability mindset into a possibility mindset, right?
Right.
And you spoke of that. You gave a great example of a marriage collapsing, a marriage needing counseling and not taking it. What's at stake? And you mentioned some very important elements, but I feel that the impact is even worse because it infiltrates into all areas of their life. And similarly, like whoever's watching, say, hi, by the way, this is a very impromptu conversation between me and Chad we wanted to share with you. Like let us know, has this have you not taken a decision and then face the consequences? How can we turn that around? Or how can we prepare ourselves rather that by taking action, I am actually saving in the long term? How by taking action, hiring a coach, getting onto that program is actually going to save you tons of sweat, tears, energy, waste of time, running around in circles, tears, money, probably hopping from one cheap course to another cheap course, and like it gets tiring. What's at stake? This is a question I always ask my clients when they're packaging their programs. What are the consequences of not taking action with you?
Right. And sometimes this is the hard part. Is oftentimes people, we don't know what the consequence is about not taking the action. Say, like if I was to work with you and your embody marketing with ease, how would I know what the cost is? I've never taken your program. I have no idea. So to those that are watching, what would you say to that? Put it in the comment below. How would you try and quantify your cost for something that you don't know much about yet, right? And if you're having a hard time with that, you might want to think about that in your messaging for your business.
Yep.
How would your audience know what the cost is? There's only two ways. You can tell them or they can ask you. I love it when somebody says, will you tell me what's the cost of not utilizing you as a coach? What does that mean? Well, I will often share with them the divorce example.
Yeah.
Because it's very real, it's very personal. And it's something where they can say, okay, even in an intangible, that makes sense. Now, in a business end, if I take Chad on to work with me as a business coach, to give me direction in my business, in my marketing, or in my mindset, now I can understand that, no, he actually can bring a change that's going to benefit me because he understands the cost. Even if I don't understand the cost, they understand the cost, and that's why they're here. And that's a really great way to position yourself in their mind as someone who knows the cost and cares enough about them to show up and help them. And
Definitely.
You've got to be able to position yourselves, because if you can't answer how would they know what the cost is of not working with me, it's because you didn't tell them yet. It's important to let them know, because you're the expert. You're the one that has the information that they need. And if you give that information up front, they can help themselves by making that decision. It's like one of our programs that we offer is we explain why the traditional marketing system is broken. Okay, we could say, hey, let's just fix what's broken. And everybody would be like, okay, what do you mean it's broken? Well, that doesn't matter. Let's just show you how you should do it. Well, that just positions you as, or positions us as somebody who just has a different way of doing it, who wants to be better. But if we position it by saying, this is why it's broken, this is why it's not working, and here's a solution, we can walk you from A to B, and you'll be able to move forward with confidence because you know why you're taking that new action. You'll know why we're telling you to take that new approach, because we positioned ourselves by saying, no, hey, we know this market well enough to know where the pitfalls are, to know what's no longer working, to know what's everybody's teaching, but nobody's actually getting any results from. One of my biggest pet peeves is I love seeing the paid ads all over Facebook that says, get 5 to 10 new clients every month without paid ads. And I'm like,
everyone has the same tagline at the moment. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know who's teaching that, but everyone has the same tagline. I've seen so many ads.
It's like so stupid. You're like, let me teach you how to do it with no paid ads. Here's my paid ad to get in front of you.
Exactly.
Well, dude, you should be in front of me without that ad if you knew what you were doing. Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Now, if they were to say, let me show you how I began with no ads to grow my business to where I can use ads, dude, I'm all over it. I'd sign up just to hear what they have to say.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
I don't throw money out, but I willingly give out money to high integrity businesses. I willingly do.
That makes a lot of sense, Chad. And with sorry, you were going to say something?
No, go ahead.
I think there's a direct link with what you mentioned, the masterclass session that we speak of, that Chad mentioned, which, by the way, let me just drop the link here so that you can. I've dropped the link in the banner so that you can have access to that, actually, where Chad just mentioned about fixing the system, right? And this links directly with the topic of today, actually. Great coincidence. It links very well with what we're talking about. The cost of indecision and that link with taking action, right? So once you decide, well, the next logical step is to actually act on it, and take responsibility for it, right? And these are a little bit of what we talk about in that masterclass session, which I highly recommend you get access to. By the way, I think it's very informative, and it really helps you to shift this mindset of what online marketing is, really, because a lot of people come into the space with a excuse me, with not only the wrong approach, because what is the right approach really? It's with certain expectations of what the online world is supposed to do for them, right? And then that makes me question, and I've spoken about this recently, that makes me question, where are you putting the responsibility? Who is it? My God, I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. Who is responsible for the outcomes of your business? Which means the leads, the sales, the clients, and all of that stuff. And Chad is pointing at him. Is it you, Chad? Are you responsible?
I am responsible for your lead. No, I'm responsible for my business. 100%. It's not Facebook. It's not Google algorithm. It's not the Facebook algorithm. It's not the Instagram algorithm. It's your job to be educated about how they work so that you can utilize them. Me saying that it's up to those platforms to bring me customers is like buying a rake and expecting my leaves to get put in a pile by themselves. It's stupid. It's stupid. And yes, if you're doing that online, you're stupid. You've got to do the work. You've got to learn how to use the tool. You've got to learn to not use that tool on a windy day. You know, it's your personal responsibility, and how we show up and do that is the difference between not right and wrong approach, but effective or ineffective during that season or time within your business and your life. Because those strategies, they'll change. They'll change with you, and they'll change with the landscape of the platform that you're on. Yep. And Facebook just did some major changes with their, their groups, right? Like how groups are interacting. It's like now if you have a group, anybody can post unless you go through and say no. But now you actually have to approve your members and non-members of whether or not they can even post in your group. Well, if you got to go through the same hoops to be a member or not be a member, if you're going to have access, everybody has the same, then what's the point of somebody signing up and being a member of your group? They're taking away certain things that are perks to be a member of a group. That's going to change the landscape of how we do it. Because if the landscape changes, we're going to have to readjust our approach and our tactics.
Then the whole delivery of courses and programs, right, that are a lot of the time delivered within private Facebook groups. Yeah, that's going to be a big one. That is worth keeping ahead of the game. Keeping what's the word? Keeping updated on top of it. Thank you. On top of it, Chad. It's late for me. At this hour my brain starts fizzing out.
Yeah, it's late for you, and I was an hour off on what time I thought it was this morning. I was just getting in the shower when you said, "Hey, I'll send you a link," and I'm like, "Already? Oh, already."
Okay, but yeah, I think this is super important, Chad, and I love that we have a conversation about it. Thank you for coming here and actually like having this very impromptu discussion about this, because I'm really passionate about this topic, and it's very relevant to what I see every day in the online space. I'll just share one thing with you that I shared the other day on my live. I'm part of a Facebook group, big guru marketing business people, right? I have taken their course in the past, and it serves me well. It's great course content and all of that. And since then, some new versions have come out, and now they've launched a completely new program, or rather an updated version, upgraded. And there are so many people in there. Like, I am not joking. Every other comment is the same. I bought this course 2 years ago. I haven't made any money. I haven't done anything about it. I haven't even finished it. Like, they're all the same. And then it's just saying about how much this sucks and how these guys are just stealing money from everyone. It's like, well, honey, if you're not taking action, and if you're just like hopping on to the next course, hoping that the next course is going to fix your problems without you taking action, then you are never going to make it. Give up. Stop buying the courses. Change direction. Go back to the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what was seeing the same thing in a couple of programs where people are, oh, this is my 4th time through this program. And I'm like, wow, is it that good? And then you hear their questions and they're like, okay, well, what's that first thing? I'm really stuck at step 1. And I'm like, step 1, you've been through it 4 times and you haven't gotten past step 1 yet? Then it's either a client problem or it's a course problem, right? And myself personally, I don't believe in motivation injections in coaching. I don't believe in that. I believe in actionable steps that will help to get you from A to B, that will give you principles that you can apply, folks, that will get you results. My job is to get you results so that you no longer need me to coach you in whatever it is that you hired me to coach you with. My job is to coach myself out of a job as fast as possible so you can get amazing results. Why? Because hopefully you'll want to go to the next level in which I can take you. But I never want to coach somebody on the same thing over and over again. It drives me insane. It's like, okay, dude, I know we're on a monthly program, but I'm not taking your any money anymore because you're not doing the work. And they're like, well, but I'm paying you. And I'm like, no, you're not. Not anymore. We're done. You got to take action. I got to invest my time in those that want to move forward. And I love doing that with people that are passionate about actually growing their business, growing themselves, because I'm really big into mindset. That's huge in how we approach our business, right? So that's kind of what I share in our program, is kind of the flip side of the coin. I will always share the other side of the coin. And that helps people get a broader, bigger picture of what's going on. And when you understand the full scope of the view, you can better traverse the landscape that you're working within. And I just really want to throw Hannah under the bus, but we did not talk about it at all, so I won't. Hannah, Hannah may be offering an absolutely amazing deal for you by the end of this week.
Am I?
You may. So you should really pay attention the rest of this week. It is exactly the same thing that I'm going to be offering this week. She was one of a handful of people that said they wanted to hear my used car salesman pitch. And I'm going to share that with her. And I believe she may just utilize that same offer for you guys. So there you have it. It's a big bus.
Okay.
Right. Thanks a lot, Chad. Never having you come on again. But
I just want to be mindful of time. Maybe you wanted to say something. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, really what I want you to do is understand that there is a broken aspect of what's being taught when it concerns marketing online today. And I will not say that our way of marketing is better than another way of marketing. But I will say that what we're doing in marketing is effective. So if you're not getting the results that you want, it's time to make a decision and find something that's being effectively applied right now. I can't stress that enough. Your life is going to be a constant life of change if you're in the entrepreneurial space. You have to be willing to make the decisions. The people who are most successful in the world have made the most decisions. Not all of them were great decisions. Not all of them played out the way that you wanted them to be. But they made enough decisions to find the effective ones that have gotten them where they are today. Don't sit back in indecision, waiting for life to present itself in a way that you'll magically succeed. It's not going to happen. I say make a decision, put your heart and your soul into it, apply it 100%, and then be consistent long enough to see the results happening in your life. I guarantee your life will not look the same.
Amen to that. And we can just leave it there. That was so that was such a strong and powerful message, and it's so true. And I just want to share with my audience watching here, Chad Nedland is gonna be, or is not gonna be, is one of my expert speakers within the Embody Marketing with Ease program, which is going to begin 1st of June. I'm sorry for those of you who have already been inquiring about it. As I spoke to you about it, we're shifting it to 1st of June. But yeah, I have an amazing team of speakers coming in, because this is the reason why I'm getting them in, is because of the importance of taking action.
Yeah.
Going into another course, hopping into another program to do note taking and pile up the journals, collecting dust, is not what's going to bring you any outcomes. And I don't even want people who are coming to just take notes for later. I'm ready to work with you if you're ready to put in the take action, if you're ready to put in the energy, and if you're committed to building your business. I think this is the difference between, I guess, other things, courses, programs out there. For us, it's not only about making the sale. We really want to create that impact for you. We really want you to move forward.
Yeah, you're meant to grow. You're meant to grow, and we want to help you do that.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. So you guys, you can start from taking action and really understanding what are your responsibilities in the online space. You can do that by going into that link that's going through the banner right now, but I'll also drop it in the first comments as soon as we end this live. And if you are interested in working with Chad or myself or both of us, please reach out and we will get back to you and find a solution that works for you and that gets you moving on your journey in your business.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciated being here. And I really look forward to Embody Marketing here in June. So hope to see you all there.
I am too. Bye, guys. Have a beautiful day or evening wherever this video finds you.